This is Johnny's Prime with me, Razak Musbau, and our headlines this are: a commercial vehicle traveling to Bawku attacked by unknown gunmen, one dead, several others injured. We have the latest for you. And also in this bulletin, Ghana in the process of building a nuclear power plant as part of measures to implement an energy transition framework. And students of Achirinsua Senior High School vowed to defeat Adisadel College in the National Science and Math Quiz showed their paths crossed this year.
At this school, tell them we are coming this time around and we are not coming to joke over there. We are going to show them what lightweight means. This time around, it's not lightweight. We have invested in us. So we are not big weight. We are coming. Tell them. I'm not going to find it easy. We are coming with Charles Race. They should expect us. We are coming for a revenge.
It's the home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. Please do stay for details. Now, a commercial vehicle traveling to Bawku has been attacked by armed men at Binduri in the Upper East region. The armed men opened fire on the vehicle, killing the driver and injuring several passengers. From 5th September 2022 to the 8th of February 2023, over 29 people have reportedly been killed by armed men in 12 separate incidents on the Pusiga, Bintri, Sabongari, Bunkrugu, Walewale Bawku, and Bawku Sinkasi roads in the Upper East and Northeast regions. Our sources within the police service say the armed men mounted a roadblock and were carrying out identity checks on passengers. This incident comes a day after a renewed disturbance in Bawku, which has reportedly led to the death of 2 young men. And Eliasu Tanko joins me via Zoom with more on this unfortunate incident. Eliasu, do we know the state of the injured persons at the moment? Yeah, Elias, what's the state of the injured persons at the moment? If you can unmute yourself and bring us up to speed on the state of the injured persons in that incident.
Well, we understand they were taken to, first of all, the hospital in Zebila, and then subsequently, some of them, we understand, has been referred to the Tamale Teaching Hospital, and we understand some of them are doing better.
But how often does this kind of attack happen on the Bolga-Bawku Road?
Well, more often from the reports that we are getting, especially anytime there's renewed conflict in the Bawku Township, we understand armed men often block this particular road, carry out identity checks, and sometimes individuals are removed from vehicles and are killed, we understand. And so this has been happening not only on the Bolga-Bawku road, but also, as you mentioned, the road to Garu, and then also to Bunkrugu, and then also Walewale as well. These incidents have often been reported in that particular area. And like you mentioned, we have counted more than 12 separate incidents since February last year up to now. And the number keeps increasing, especially with this particular latest one that happened in Binduri yesterday in the evening.
But what more do we know about this attack? I understand you mentioned that they've been carrying out some identity checks. Exactly what kind of identity checks are they doing from what you've gathered?
Well, like I said, before this particular attack, we understand there was renewed violence in the Bawku Township, resulting to the death of 2 young men who are very popular in this particular area. Subsequently, as we are understanding, a group of armed men then mounted a roadblock on that particular stretch from Bolga to Bawku, and we understand are carrying out identity checks. Individuals that are targeted or belong to a particular group are targeted. And on this particular incident, we understand the vehicle had loaded from Bolga and was going to Garu through Bawku and then reaching the Binduri stretch of the road, the gunmen opened fire on this particular vehicle, resulting to the instant death of the driver and then also leading to the injuries. We understand the driver, who is confirmed dead, is currently was sent to the Presbyterian Hospital in Bawku, and where his body is currently being kept.
But what have the police been telling you about security efforts to protect travelers who use that road?
Well, we understand this is one of the reasons why the special forces or security reinforcement was reinforced in the Bawku area, just so to protect these particular roads that have now been infested by armed men. And so there are a lot of patrol ongoing in this particular area, but because of the extent of the how the road is, it's very difficult for the armed forces or the personnel to patrol all these areas. So sometimes the armed men are able to evade and carry out this particular attack. But I can tell you that there are security forces currently patrolling this particular stretches of the road to ensure travelers are protected.
Eliasu, thank you very much for joining us, and just keep tabs on that, and we'll bring you more updates as and when we get some. But away from that, Ghana is in the process of building its first nuclear power plant as part of measures to implementing its energy transition framework. The framework is expected to create 1,404,702 new job opportunities due to the introduction of new technology. It is also expected to lead to some 30.05 million productive hours gained due to the upscale adoption of clean cooking fuels. According to experts, this will have significant impact on women and children, who are the main gatherers of firewood. Samuel Kojo Brace has more in the following report.
Ghana's energy transition policy is a long-term framework that guarantees the best fuel supply security due to a diversified fuel mix, including natural gas and nuclear energy. But little is known about the framework. A CSO platform, CASA Initiative, has thus organized a forum to sensitize CSOs in the natural resource and environment sectors on Ghana's energy transition framework. Dr. Robert Sogbaji, the Deputy Director of Nuclear and Alternative Energy at the Ministry of Energy, explains the primary goal of the policy.
Now, the energy transition is to make sure that we reduce our greenhouse gas emissions in the energy sector globally, because we realize that the energy sector is one of the sectors that is causing greenhouse gas emissions and which is causing climate change in terms of flooding, in terms of droughts, in terms of anything that affects us through climate change. So we realize that if we decarbonize the energy sector, we are going to significantly reduce the effect of climate change in the world.
He explains how Ghana intends to achieve the strategies in its energy transition.
By making sure that we increase our renewable energy penetration, we also introduce other technologies such as nuclear energy, also carbon capture technology for our gas plants, because gas is a transition fuel in Ghana, and various other systems that we are implementing in the country to make sure that we achieve clean energy sector in Ghana.
Dr. Sogbaji reviewed that plans are far advanced to build Ghana's first nuclear power plant.
We want to establish our nuclear power. Latest by 2030, 2032, we should be able to have our first nuclear power plant in the energy mix. And this is going to serve as a base load energy to support our thermal plants from gas and our hydro. Because as at now, we've exhausted all our large hydros. And now mini hydros, if we even dump all of them, we may not get about to 2 gigawatts. So we need another base load, clean energy base load, and nuclear comes in as a clean base load.
CSOs want government to do more to help citizens to keep an eye on key milestones set in the framework. John Goka is National Coordinator of CASA Initiative.
Especially the subsector levels, when we come to the community levels, that are supposed to play a key role in supporting this implementation. How are we driving the process of awareness at the community level? Issues of clean cook stoves, how are communities accepting this model and how are they seeing it as part of the framework? How these linkages need to be well strengthened within the community level so that we know this is the path that government is taking to achieve clean energy and let's say a transition economy at the end of the day. It's a long-term plan from 2022 to 2070. So along the way, we need to be updating ourselves on the processes that have unfolded so far.
One of the most important milestones of the framework is its capacity to minimize energy-related and its related illnesses, estimated at saving 48,218 babies from dying through premature death due to improvement in air quality and health.
Now, our latest Hotline documentary, A Nation That Begs, airs on Joy News Monday, 12 June at 8:30 p.m. and on the Joy FM Super Morning Show at 8:30 a.m. In this piece, data analyst Isaac Kofi looks at how, after more than 60 years of unbridled borrowing, Ghana is back at the International Monetary Fund's Intensive Care Unit receiving treatment. He recounts the historical backdrop behind Ghana's over 6 decades of mammoth public debt. Remember, A Nation That Begs, of course, on the Joy News channel here on Monday at 8:30 p.m. and on the Joy FM Super Morning Show at 8:30 a.m. Now, away from that, former National Security Advisor Francis Poku says the absence of good governance, judicious use of resources, and fair electoral issues, among others, could create dissatisfaction among the people, thereby opening the door for radicals and violent extremists to exploit. Speaking at a dialogue by the National Catholic Secretariat in Sunyani, the former National Security Advisor stressed the need for conscious efforts to be made to protect the country. Precious Semevo has more.
The regional dialogue in Sunyani was organized by the National Catholic Secretariat of the Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference, funded by the Catholic Relief Services. The Sahel Peace Initiative had stakeholders including the Peace Council, political parties, religious leaders, youth leaders, and security agencies to raise awareness about conflicts in Ghana that have the potential of providing fertile grounds for violent extremism and also provide the platform to advocate for positive change. Most Reverend Matthew Kwesi Jemfi is the Bishop of Sunyani and President of the conference.
We seek to enhance our understanding of the trending conflict issues and how they create fertile grounds for violent extremist infiltration. By delving deep into the root causes of these conflicts, we can develop effective strategies to counteract their detrimental effects. Secondly, we aim to emphasize the role of alternative dispute resolution in safeguarding social cohesion.
Bono Regional Minister Justina Osubanahini urged stakeholders to be vigilant of signs that could potentially lead to instability in the border region. She expressed worry over the high number of chieftaincy disputes.
The Bono region's proximity to Côte d'Ivoire, with porous borders, adds to the potential challenges in managing the situation. There are 25 unresolved chieftaincy disputes currently before the Bono Regional House of Chiefs Judicial Committee, with 10 being at the paramountcy level. This has been a challenge to the Regional House of Chiefs in terms of trying to find amicable solutions to these disputes, and has also been a constant worry for the Regional Security Council, which role is to ensure the peace and stability of our dear region.
Former National Security Advisor Francis Poku, speaking on the theme, Trending Conflicts in Ghana, Fertile Grounds for Violent Extremism, a call for action, said concerns such as good governance should be important to government to ensure agitators are not exploited by radicals and violent extremists to destabilize the nation.
It's not enough for security services to protect the nation against violence and subversion, but there is an area of good governance to ensure that these grievances do not persist in a country. And that is the best protection against terrorist violence. So with regime protection must go good governance. And all governments have a duty for the purpose of stability to ensure that there is good governance. If there's no good governance, you create unemployment, you create dissatisfaction, you have groups that are disaffected, you have groups that feel that they are not part and parcel of society. And if you go to areas where government development has not reached, they are also easy targets because they feel that they are not part of society and they will embrace any groups that come with offers of violence.
Precious Semevo, Joy News, Sunyai.
Now, the Catholic Archdiocese of Cape Coast is asking government to see to the enforcement of laws on illegal mining and illegal destruction of the country's forest reserves. According to the church, it doesn't make sense when every year people are called upon to plant trees and at the same time the existing forest reserves are being dissipated. Speaking at the Green Ghana Day celebration in Cape Coast, Director of Caritas and Socio-Economic Development at the Archdiocese of Cape Coast, Reverend Father Stephen Amwajesi, also called on government to pay persons under the Youth Employment Agency and the Forestry Commission who help in nurturing the seedlings.
According to the church, it is good to plant the trees and nurture them to grow, but it is equally good to ensure that existing forest cover is not depleted. Speaking at this year's Green Ghana Day at Cornelia Corneli School in Cape Coast, the Director of Caritas and Socio-Economic Development at the Archdiocese of Cape Coast, Reverend Father Stephen Amwajesi, entreated government to enforce the country's laws on illegal mining and illegal logging of trees.
And as we are even planting today, there are people in the forest trying to destroy the forest. So I don't know. So I am pleading with the government, with the stakeholders. Please, let us do the best thing we can to make sure that what we are doing is not destroyed the next day. And we do that by making sure that the laws are working. All those supposed to be given the necessary tools to protect our forest, they are given the necessary tools. Or else it becomes a show. But we don't want to be part of a show. We want to be part of a long-lasting project that will have effect on the yet unborn generations.
He also called on government to pay the youth employment workers that work with the Forestry Commission.
But as much as Christians, we want to be part of this all-important project, we also want to encourage the government. From my own investigations, I've realized that those who are employed from the Youth Employment Project and then sent to the Forestry Department, they have not been paid for months, which is very sad. Very sad, because these are the young ones who actually nurse the trees for us to plant. And so if you don't pay them, it becomes a big disincentive for the continuity of this project.
Operations Manager of the Plantations of the Forestry Commission, Daniel Donko, says the commission is targeting both on and off reserves and pleaded with everyone to take part in the tree planting exercise beyond the day set aside.
The place that we planted last year won't be necessarily the same place that we are going to plant, because we are extending and expanding our tentacles to capture places where we experience forests, we experience deforestation and land degradation. If we've been advised to plant trees which will enhance our environment, give out food, give out medicine, and also help rains that sometimes when the rain falls, we see flooding everywhere, because we've taken our trees away. Because where we are supposed to plant trees, we've paved the pavement everywhere. And the rain that come have nowhere to go down, serve as erosion, get into the drains, and then flood our communities. And then we also look onto the government to help us through NADMO and other things.
Now, in a painful defeat to Adisadel College, students of Acherinswa Senior High School had to bow out of the 2022 National Science and Maths Quiz after scoring 1 point at the 1-8 stage. But guess what? They are back bearing a flaring revenge to boot out the boys up the hill of Pedu Junction in Cape Coast should they cross paths. The school is among two others which have secured a slot for the Ahafo region in the 2023 National Championship. Emmanuel Bright Kweku has more from Sunyani.
Acherinswa, if the current in an inductor is changing, The inductor fails to capture all the magnetic energy. Yes, Philip.
It's true.
No, it's false.
An undeniably heart-wrenching day imprinted in the memories of students of Acherensia Senior High School after they woefully lost to Adisador College in the 1-8 stage in 2022.
At the end of round 5, here are the scores. Acherensia Senior High School, 1 point. Adisador College, 52 points. Acherensia Senior High School. We hope to see you next year with a much improved performance.
But with an unbroken resolve to pay back the Zebra Boys, the school won their contest against Jimfiku Menin SHTS, Presby SHS Bichim, and Ahafuman SHTS to qualify to the national stage of this year's competition.
At this school, tell them you are coming this time around and we are not coming to joke over there. What we are going to show them what lightweight means. This time around, it's not lightweight. We have invested in us. So we are not big weight. We are coming. Tell them. We are coming to abuse them with us.
They are not going to find it easy. We are coming with Charles Race. They should expect us. We are coming for a revenge.
4 on 25.
It is 24 on 25.
In a shared display of wit and zealousness, the girls from Kenya's Ola SHS left no stone unturned as they beat their contenders by an 18-point margin. They clashed with Widiam SHS, Kukwom Agric SHS, and Sewa Kesi Girls SHS. While they correctly answered their main questions thrown at them, contestants of the school desperately snatched bonuses from their contenders. After taking an 11-point lead at the first round, Ola Girls Kenyasi proved their dominance over their contenders as they kept widening their margin at every round of the contest.
You are going to meet, let's say, St. James, Ekumfia Mayao in the regionals, zonal competition. What do you have for them?
They should watch out for us because this time we are going to the semi-finals.
We are going to the
each 2 points.
Samuel Otu Presby joined the band heading for the national championship after defeating Boma SHTS and Wachi Tromo SHTS. They won the contest by 37 points, while their closest contender, Boma SHTS, pulled 29 points ahead of Wachi Tromo SHS, which secured 1 point.
But the pressure is low for me.
It's low?
Yeah, because I see them like my sons. Like we are looking for the big schools that like St. James and other schools.
When we get to Legon Presec, we are going to beat them because if Madrid is able to beaten by City, then we can beat Legon. So you are the Man City over here. Yeah.
The three schools are hoping to progress steadily through each stage of the national competition. For Joy News, my name is Emmanuel Bright Quaker.
Of course, this is your home of the National Science of Maths quiz. We'll take a quick break and we'll be back with more. Welcome back. Now, the program's manager for the National TB Control Program, Dr. Yao Edusei-Poku, has revealed that the number of TB cases in Ghana is expected to increase if actions are not taken to tackle the disease. Speaking at a sensitization program for journalists on TB reporting, Dr. Edusei-Poku said about 30 persons die of TB daily in Ghana and over 120 others fall ill of the disease daily. There is more in the following report.
A total of 16,650 cases of tuberculosis were detected in Ghana last year, an increase of 20% of the 13,278 cases detected in 2021. However, there are fears the number will surge further in 2023 if actions are not taken to curb the situation. Speaking at a sensitization program jointly organized by the National Tuberculosis Control Program, Hope for the Future, and other stakeholders in the fight against TB, Programs Manager for the National TB Control Program, Dr. Yao Edusei-Poku, said actions need to be taken to fight the disease.
So we are saying that every day, about 30 people in Ghana die of TB. 125 persons fall ill of TB. So why are we where we are? Last year, for instance, we got 20% more of our cases. That is 16,650. It is possible that due to a lot of strategies we are putting into place, there will be more cases coming. So the issue is, why are we where we are? Awareness. We need to create a lot of our awareness. That comes with resources. So it's all about making sure that we have a lot of GeneSpect, which is now the current state-of-the-art machine for diagnosing tuberculosis. We need to have more of the X-rays in all the district hospitals. That will create access. Okay, we need to talk about, just like I've indicated, talk a lot, create awareness also for the disease.
The executive director of Hope for the Future Foundation, Cecilia Senu, also called on government to show more commitment in investing towards the fight against TB and other diseases.
Today also we are preparing the media to support us to ensure that the government of Ghana participates in the UN high-level meeting. There are a number of things that is happening, and they are going to sign a commitment to support TB. We want to engage the president, one, to participate in that UN high-level meeting on TB, and also sign on the commitment to invest in TB. We have the 6 As that we presented today, and these are the things that we want the president of Ghana and all the Ghanaians to advocate for our president, not just to sign or not just to commit, but invest money into TB.
And the Ghana Premier League Mediama have been crowned champions of the Ghana Premier League, and there will be more of that on Scoreboard with Nabila. That's all for Joe News Prime. With me, Razak Musbau. Do have a lovely evening.